Welcome everybody, this is PixelFreak from the CoinOps Project Discord. I was going through the 8BitDo website and came across this. 8BitDo controllers are compatible with Steam Deck now, and it piqued my interest. Of course, loving the CoinOps Legends 3 and Legends 4 is now in beta for the Steam Deck. I thought, hey, I'd like an external controller, and I really like the quality of the 8BitDo. I am not an affiliate of theirs. I'm a big fan of the quality of their product. My biggest concern has been that they don't really do the Western layout, which I like the Xbox style buttons. But I had an issue because they came out with these wonderful Ultimate controllers, and it's very confusing. The naming convention is just, I had so many questions. I think a lot of you saw me ranting on the Discord channel, just going, wait, what? Who does what? It was completely not clear what was going on. I do own a couple of SN Pro Pluses, and I love those, and they operate very differently than these Ultimate. So I went online, went on Amazon, and I picked up one of the Ultimate wireless Bluetooth controllers. But it's confusing as heck, so I want to take a couple minutes to show you the difference between them, because if you like them, as I do, because yes, they are compatible with Steam Deck and they rock. But the other thing is, I went a little bit farther and changed mine over to the Western layout buttons, and I have a couple of pictures to show how easy it was if you're, not afraid of opening up a controller. So anyway, using their own website here, I saw this and I thought, well, this is cool. If you look here though, and I'll show you in another picture on how to tell the difference. These are the Ultimate wireless. They're not wired because it doesn't have a cable sticking out. They're wireless, but they're not wireless Bluetooth. How can you tell? First of all three of these. There's only 3 colors in the Ultimate wireless. They're only a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. Therefore, they are always X input. If they're wired, because you can use a USB-C cable, it comes with a cable and a cradle and a dongle. But what makes these ones wireless is that they have a 2.4 gigahertz 8BitDo dongle in the cradle. It comes with it. And then that is what is wired into your PC, or if you want, you could do it to your Steam Deck, but you'd have to change the cable because one end is USB-A and you need USB-C if you're going to plug it in, if you're not using a docking station on your Steam Deck. But I digress. So if you're going to use the Ultimate Wireless or the Ultimate Wireless Bluetooth, they're fantastic. Like I said, both of them come with the dongle in the cradle. But this one right here, the reason you can tell, and I know because I've had to really dig deep and figure all this out, these ones have the Western layout. If they have the Xbox style buttons on here, they are X input only. That means that if you plug it in via cable, it's X input. If you use the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, it's X input. That's why the Western button layout is there. It also helps you be able to tell the difference. Now, that is different. And I'll show you how. You're going to their website and you're like, oh, wow, that's not one of these Ultimates. Look at this. You can tell that this is not the Ultimate wired because it's got the Xbox home button on there. This is an Xbox branded specific wired controller. That is not what I'm here to talk about. This is the Bluetooth controller Ultimate. Notice the layout. Japanese style, or also Nintendo. A and B, X and Y are swapped. It's the only way you can tell on the face between the two different wireless versions. Coming down here to the 2.4 gigahertz controllers. Look, the 3 colors. Pink is not offered in Bluetooth. Pink, black, white, and the Western layout. Cradle. Wired controllers. Look, it is not an Xbox button. This is the Ultimate wired. It is only X input. There's no wireless capability at all. Western layout. All right. So with that, when you look at here, 8BitDo Ultimate controller, there is Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz, and wired. Bluetooth has both. Bluetooth can do all 3. The Ultimate wireless, which does not have Bluetooth, is just the dongle and wired only, or just the wired only. Hope I'm helping you understand as I continuously repeat the difference, because oh my gosh, even making this video, I'm having a hard time keeping them straight. But the cheat sheet is, if you were paying attention, from the back, which one is this? Folks, it's a Western layout, no cable, it's an Ultimate, so therefore it's the 2.4 wireless, non-Bluetooth. All right, so I want to take a look at the one that I bought. It was the Bluetooth, the Ultimate wireless Bluetooth. Look at that. We know that's the correct one. Japanese, B and A, Y and X, or also the Nintendo layout. This cradle is awesome, okay? Again, I'm using their own propaganda. Well, propaganda. It's their own advertising on their own website. I shouldn't be so harsh. Yes, that Cradle is fantastic. You drop it in, it charges, it turns off. As soon as you pick it up, your PC or your Steam Deck will recognize it. See, it goes in the cradle, tells you it's charging, turns off. Take it out, light goes off. It automatically turns itself off and connects. It is that easy, and it's fantastic for having on a desk or a place where you just want to put your controller away. It's not going to slide off, be in your way. So, of course, as the Windows software, this is all the stuff that indicates, hey, it's great. But ever since SteamOS 4 upgrade came out, 3.4, once that came out, it recognizes the ultimate wireless, the ultimate wired, and the ultimate wireless Bluetooth controllers, all in different ways, and it'll make sense again as we go through it. So, this right here, look, only 2 colors and Japanese layout. Therefore, this is the ultimate wireless Bluetooth, and I'm having the hardest time getting that out. This is a really cool snapshot on their website. This is flipping the cradle upside down, and there is the dongle. It is just a USB dongle. The back of the cradle is USB-C. The cable that comes with it out of the box is USB-C on this side, USB-A, the standard square or rectangle for the PC, right? So if you're going to use it with your Steam Deck and you don't have a dock for your Steam Deck, say that 3 times fast, you will need to get a USB-C to USB-C to be able to plug in to your Steam Deck, because the dongle just resides in this cradle. But that's also kind of nice because you can just take that out if you wanted to and put it directly into your PC. But why would you do that? Because then you wouldn't be able to store it, and it also wouldn't charge. So it's great because that acts as the power source to charge your device when you put it down, and it's what gives it the 2.4 gigahertz capability. All right. And if anybody's going to ask, no, these will not in any way connect to an Xbox. A PC, yes. An Xbox, no. You would have to get that other one that I was showing you that was specifically made, wired for the Xbox, that had the home button of the Xbox on it. That's the only one, and it's not an Ultimate. It's the only one that would work on an Xbox, but that's not the point of this. Flipping the Ultimate wireless Bluetooth over, you have the extra paddles on there that are fully programmable, and then you have this toggle switch. Bluetooth in 2.4 gigahertz only. When it is in Bluetooth mode, it will not try to reach the base through the dongle. It will use the Bluetooth radio in here, and it goes into D-input mode only. It was a strange choice by 8BitDo, and it took me a lot of testing and running around on different devices to figure out how it was going to behave. All right, so when it's in this Bluetooth mode, the only API that's going to come through, and it's going to identify itself as a Pro controller. And in fact, when I tested it on my Steam Deck, you just connect it like any other Bluetooth device. But when I got it connected on my Steam Deck, it's fantastic, feels great, popped right up. And those drivers in there recognize it perfectly. When it comes up, and Steam input overlay is fantastic because you don't have to worry about any remapping, etc. either. It just knows, it's beautiful. But enough about that. When it's in the Bluetooth and it's connected to the Steam Deck, it is recognized actually as a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Even though it's D-input, it does everything fantastic. It's perfect on the Steam Deck. I ran around in Legends 4 beta. It's fantastic. Any of the other PC games on there, Cuphead, anything else through Steam, because of course Steam input takes care of that overlay. Their controller software built in is unlike Windows, so even if you're using a D-input device, because again, it can't come through in Bluetooth as a Pro controller, you don't have to worry about, there's no remapping. It just has A, B, X, Y. Also in the SteamOS, in the controller applet, there's even a toggle in the SteamOS where you can flip it so that it will act like the Japanese layout that shows on its face. And the reason I keep mentioning the Japanese layout buttons on the face is because I went as far as paying the $2.99. And I got the button shipped. I opened it up. I want to show people some quick photos also of what it took to swap those out, because I just like the Western layout. All right, so of course they're going to talk about 8BitDo is going to show you, hey, this you can do the profile switching. Here's the buttons on it, etc. And of course this would be like an Xbox controller, the back and the view, or the back and start. That's the profile switch. That is not the share button like an Xbox Series X or S controller. And that would be the home button. Oh, they actually show that, look at this, they took out the wire. Interesting, I didn't catch this before, but like I said, you could put it in the Cradle, but it wouldn't charge. And then they took the dongle out and put it directly into their laptop instead of using the cable, which would allow you to charge and use the dongle. So anyway, the reason I wanted to go over this is because it is very confusing. Even if you've listened to this part, you're probably still like, well, Pixel, what does it connect to? What does it not? The Bluetooth, the reason that it's D input only and acts like a switch controller is because that's what they envisioned using it for. And that's why they're showing it in their little video. In Bluetooth, it's perfect for switch. Go ahead. But it's also perfect for SteamOS as well. Now, the tech specs, it's only black and white. It tells you switch mode, which is their D input, pro controller mode, and X input mode. When it's wired, it's forced into X input. Even if you swap the toggle on the back and put it in the Bluetooth, which otherwise would be D input. In Windows, I noticed a slight issue, but it fixes itself quickly. If I had it in the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, which shouldn't matter if it's wired, it was already an X input or Xbox compatible controller. I switched it over because I wanted to see what it would do. And sure enough, when I was in the joystick control panel, it did the USB detach and reattach noise. It showed quickly that it was a Pro controller, and then it did it one more time and switched back out of that mode back into X input when it was wired, when I flipped the toggle on the back. So they have firmware restricted it to only allow X input in wired mode. But Bluetooth is available for switch. X input can be done wired. It's the only one that comes through in the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, and those are the only two ways that you can get X input, wired or through the dongle. If you have it in Bluetooth, it's going to be D input. So enough of all those specs there. The other thing I want to show you is what I did. And I have all of them in the same picture, okay? So Pixel quiz, all right? This one up front, this one to the right, and this one to the back. These are all three the same. These two are its same series, and these two are the same series. And let me explain to you why I know why. Well, first, obviously, wired. They're the only ones with the wires permanently sticking out. These are the ultimate wireds. Notice it's not the Xbox Home button. These will not work on an Xbox console. You need the one with the Xbox Home button if you plan on just getting an 8BitDo. It's non-ultimate, and that would be wired. These are different. This is the ultimate wired. Western layout can only be wired, and therefore it comes in black and white. These three, Western layout, but they have cradles and no wires. These three are 2.4 gigahertz wireless. Or what? The reason I'm doing all this is because when you go to Amazon and purchase it or whatever, hey, I want to get one of these. Depending on who's selling it, they name them slightly differently, and I almost bought the wrong one. The other distinctions that I think are important, I hate stick drift. These ones right here, the Ultimate Wireless, which only has wired or 2.4 gigahertz dongle. Sorry to keep repeating that, but it'll sink in. Western layout. These ones do not have the Hall effect joysticks. That is one thing, and I don't believe they have, I don't have one of these, but I don't believe they have the paddle on the back or the toggle on the back. I know they don't have the toggle because they can't toggle into Bluetooth. But I don't think they have the paddles on the back either, but they don't have the Hall effect. They've been running about 20 bucks cheaper than the Bluetooth enabled models. Okay, so these three, Ultimate Wireless, Ultimate Wired, Ultimate Wireless, 2.4 gigahertz dongle only because there's no Bluetooth. Black and white, there's no pink for the Bluetooth version, all right? These ones can do Bluetooth, D input only, 2.4 gigahertz X input only through the dongle, or wired X input only. They have the Japanese style layout because these are the only ones that are going to be able to connect to a switch. A good way to remember it, okay? But I don't like my buttons looking like that. So I went to the 8BitDo website and I found this, $2.99. You can buy replacement buttons, but you gotta go and do a little surgery. The other thing is I like this picture, and I didn't realize this until I was putting them in. They really made this idiot proof. They did, because you can't drop the buttons in the wrong ones. When I get to the pictures about how I took apart the controller and I put these in, you can only drop them in the correct spot. A will only go into A, which would be B for Japanese layout, because of the locations of these fat and skinny tabs. So it's great because they protect you from yourself. You can't all of a sudden have, X on top, A on bottom, etc. So it was nice. $2.99. Now, problem was it was $6 for shipping. So while I was there, I also got the same Xbox layouts for my SN Pro Pluses. Just because I figured if I'm going to do this and I'm already going to pay the $6 shipping, I got 2 more packs. But that's a different. I want to give a credit and a shout out to Soapy Mac and Cheese. I did a Google search because I was trying to figure out how to get into this controller because I wanted to do this. Soapy Mac and Cheese had a Reddit thread, so I just wanted to throw his name out there. I followed his stuff. It was great. So kudos to you, man. Thanks so much. There were no pictures, but reading what he did was easy to do. So this is my actual controller. This is when it's done. Now you're thinking, well, Pixel, you told me this whole time how to identify them. That's right. I changed mine. Notice my buttons are to the right. That's the Japanese layout. That's how it came. This is the final version, and I'm very happy because this is the Bluetooth Ultimate Wireless version, and I got my Xbox buttons. So the Western layout, which I like. And I also like that they're colored. It just kind of gives it a little more of a color pop, as my son likes to say. Easiest way is you got to get a spudger, something plastic, non-marking, something that, you know, if you've ever played around with taking apart electronics and these plastic snap seams, you're familiar with what it is. You can use like a guitar pick, or some people use automotive trim tools, which actually is what I had, and it's often referred to as a spudger. But here are the paddles. Here is the, these of course are the charging contacts for when it's in the cradle. And this is the toggle, all right? It's right now in the 2.4 gigahertz. Has nothing to do with taking this apart. The first step was you got to pop this out, okay? Get something in there, wedge it. I started from this edge, worked my way up. Go slow because these are plastic. You don't want to break any tabs because then it won't go back together. Popped it out that way, popped it out that way. You're next going to be looking for 6 screws. I did a close-up. Okay, there's one on the top, one on the bottom, and this one is deep in there. You're going to need an extender, or I took the picture straight on so you can't quite see, but it is the deepest recess screw. This one's easy to get to because it's only half, you know, you can actually still get the bit in there. This one, the bit wouldn't completely go in without an extender because mine got stuck. It's so deep. It's not, you know, it's not insurmountable, but you need to understand that you need a little extender for the tip. Take these 3 out. It is a Torx 6, a T6 bit, okay? So a small Torx bit, T6. Take those 3 out, do the other 3 on the other side. That is going to allow you to remove the back plate. You take a spudger and you start popping right in here, and then you will lift over. When it's coming off, and these are the Hall Effect joysticks, they're fantastic. But when you're taking it off, don't pull too far because this ribbon cable still connects it. I was able to do all this without having to undo the ribbon cable, which was nice. Even though you can, I just prefer not to break any OEM contacts or seals if you don't have to. So spudge from the bottom, get it to crack apart, wiggle it up to the top because it needs to release up here, and then it opens side to side. So, you know, the buttons would be over here. It's going to go from right to left. Lay it over, and then you've got this PCB board that's still going to be holding all the buttons in. Oh, and also you had to kind of, I couldn't quite get it to go over at first. Well, I realized you got to push this one down just a little bit to fit through the hole. It's very close in diameter, so it was slightly hanging on the lip, and I realized, oh, you know, don't yank too hard. I just kind of moved it around a little, and it popped open. So, and of course, these are the motors. I'm drawing a blank here. These are going to vibrate, vibration motors. This one's funny. It's like half the size of this one. This is new to me. So open it up, and these are no longer Torx 6. These are just, and they're not even Phillips 2. They're really small, but they're Phillips. Okay, once I got in there and I took off, there's the PCB board. There was, I think, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of those Phillips screws, took it off, and then you've got these rubber gaskets holding everything on. There's the D-pad, there's the center buttons, and then here is your cluster of buttons that you want to change. Of course, it's reversed because you flipped it over and laid it on its face. There's nothing holding these on, just pull these off, okay? Now you see the buttons. That's the back of the Japanese style. I'm sorry, that's after I dropped them. That's the back of the Japanese style. They're all just white, okay? And notice they all had those. See what I was talking about? The spokes will only fit, each one is specifically designed so you can't mess it up, all right? Spin it around. That's A, that's X, that's Y, that's B, okay? Just wanted to show you putting them in. And then you just reverse it. Put your gasket back on. Put your 7 screws back in, tighten it down, get your PCB board back on. Flip it back over. Clip the top first. Line it all up because there is a ridge there. Snap it into place. Be gentle. If you got to push too hard, you don't want to break off the tiny little tabs. It's gentle force, and it'll snap right into place. If it's not going, kind of take an eyeball, make sure why it's not. You don't want to snap one of these things because then you're going to have a loose controller. Put all 6 of these back in. These are the T6s. All right. Then you're going to put the hand grips back on, and that's going to be the final product when you're all done. I have to say it's absolutely fantastic. These Hall effect joysticks, enjoy CPL. If you take a standard Xbox controller and you go into joystick control panel and you start going the full rotation in here, it will fill out that whole box. It's a square that shows the range of motion on the analog. These are fantastic because they're automatically centered. You won't get stick drift because they're Hall effect. And when it's just a big circle. It never gets jammed in the corner because it's not wider or showing more than what's actually detected. It's a perfect circle in there. They're smooth. They feel fantastic. Also, I wanted to say I didn't do it, but looking at Soapy Mac and Cheese's post, he started looking at the thumbstick caps. He did this on the wired version, but I can only imagine that these are interchangeable parts. Although if you have the Hall effect, I'm not sure the thumbstick caps can come off. So I wanted to tell you the difference. If you look at the picture here, these were not removable that I could tell. These were on there. They were fixed. I couldn't just pop these off. So if you actually come across this Reddit entry, be kind of careful about this because he talks about thumbstick caps and he says it was able to change them out. I'm not so sure. Didn't try, but it didn't look like anything was giving. So anyway, folks, I'm going to put a link in here. I am not an affiliate of 8BitDo, but I love these things, and Amazon started a program. I'm going to put both an affiliate link on there, and I'm going to put a non-affiliate link on there. If you go to Amazon and you order one of these things and you think it's worthwhile, I'm going to click on my link and they throw me a nickel or whatever, fine. And I'm also, because it doesn't matter to me, I wanted to share this because I really like their controllers. I wanted to show what I did with mine. I got excited because it works fantastically with the Steam Deck. CoinOps is getting pretty close to dropping the Legends 4 for Steam Deck. And it all centered around me finding that out and wanting to get one of these because the SteamOS 3.4 said, we now actually support it. Getting back to the Steam Deck as well. The Steam Deck, if you connect it via Bluetooth, it sees it as a Pro controller. It's fantastic. If you want to use it wired, you can. It's X input. It will see it as an Xbox controller. It's kind of cool because even in the Steam menu overlay, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you plug in an Xbox or an X input compatible device, in the bottom left where otherwise it's normally, you think of Windows on the taskbar, it's the start button. Well, in Steam, it has that oval that says Steam. When you plug in an X input controller, it's cool because the overlay becomes the Xbox home button icon. It does the same thing for these Ultimate Wireless. If you connect it via dongle, because it's X input, or if you connect it wired on the Steam Deck, it's also X input. If you do it via Bluetooth, it doesn't do that, but it does show up as a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. All right, thanks for listening this far. As always, join the CoinOps Project Discord server. It's always worth a Google. A lot of invite codes on Reddit. We just don't type it out there. And, if you get in there, it's a great community. Input is always appreciated. Help is always appreciated. But please do your own due diligence by reading the facts. Tons of information we try to keep up to date because we don't like answering the same questions over and over because it really is straightforward. It's in the facts. It's in the pins of each channel. We understand that people are new to Discord and we encourage you to come join, be part of the group. It's a great community. Have a say in the development, get new announcements, get wiring diagrams, get tips and tricks. Hey, I want to do this. Well, community support's available. Hey, I want to know this about the original build. Hey, the whole staff will jump in and help out. It's a great place to be. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, push the button, helps me out. I appreciate it. Enjoy, and everybody, game on.